in the sky, vengeance in its eyes, vengeance in its eyes. All hope seems to die when he sees your eyes running through the night. Only takes him back, always out of sight, crowding through the night. Run, you can run, but you'll never hide. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming, you're running. The walls are coming.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is extra time. We're originally going to be doing this on the Monday, but because of the nature of the defeat today, we're going live Sunday night. And by special request of Sooty, we've not started this until the 9 p.m. watershed. So we have got a fantastic panel, as you can see on the screen tonight. We've got Cheerful Chris. We've got Liam, we've got Sooty, we've got Scott, we've got the Lord himself, Jason Guy, we've got our senior writer from Always Wolves, George, we've got Lewis as well, who's a regular contributor to the channel. Scott is here, and we've also got a debutant tonight. Esme is also here with us live. Guys, gentlemen, Chris, first of all, how are you? Cheerful. Obviously, he's got a very glum face, not very good. Liam, how are you?
Not too bad. I was doing all right this weekend, but again today kind of ruined it really. But yeah, I'm okay.
Fantastic. Scott, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Could be a bit better after today's game, but I'm all right.
Sooty, am I up to standard with my top?
Yes.
Thank you very much. And how are you, mate?
Shit.
Jason, how you doing, mate? Looking good.
Well, I was excited about the game today. First game of the season at Molineux, so we all go in with this new air of hope and enthusiasm. And how deflated did we all leave? Disappointing days.
Absolutely. George, you okay, mate? You're on mute, mate.
That's it, man. Yeah, I'm all right. All good. I'd have been better if I'd have left at half time today, but such is life.
Well, I think we all would have been better after half time. And Lewis, wearing the, I think Emma's wore that top today. Very smart top that you've got on there. And how are you today?
I'm okay, Dave. Very disappointed with the result. But yeah, I think, like you said, half time, it was a very different game. So, disappointed with the second half, especially.
Absolutely. So, is that a hamster you've got there, Scott, or is that a dog?
It's a dog.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. He loves you, doesn't he? All right, fantastic. Right, look, what we're going to be doing tonight, we're going to be splitting it into first half and second half. We've already got nearly 300 of you watching. If you do want to get involved with the show itself, you can join in the comments, or there is a link in the description to get on the show live and have your opinion. We can get you on. You get on in the green room, and then we can get you on the show. We've also got a few reactions to share from the international fans as well that have sent a few reactions, which we'll put on the screen. We're going to be talking and breaking down everything today, from the talking points from the game, what went wrong. Everyone will be giving their man and match performance rating and highlights of the day. We'll be talking, obviously, no doubt, about the final few days of this summer transfer window. Looking ahead to Burnley and Forest, any questions that you've got. And I'm asking everyone of the panel to think of something to either make us laugh or cheer us up a little bit. So, we've got a little bit of light-heartedness in there as well. I'm delighted to say that the first half of the show, it is going to be Jason, Liam, Scott and Chris, and then second half of the show is going to be George, Lewis, Sooty and Esme, aren't you? So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to drop George off. I'm dropping Lewis off into the green room to have a cup of tea. We're dropping off Esme. And there we go. We've got us guys. We have got, and dropping Sooty off as well. And I've also got to bring on cheerful Chris as well. So there we go. This is the show. Before we get started, of course, I do want to say a massive big thank you to the wonderful people at Creation Wolf who power On the Ball and Extra Time, our Sunday night show. They give us loads and loads of support. Lots of exciting things coming down the line. They do the most advanced digital solutions, take your brand and online presence digital capabilities to the next level. You can find more out about them on creationwolf.com, link below this video. And we have also got tonight, there's a couple of charity events that we will mention too. But who wants to kick us off? Scott, Liam, Chris, or Jason? Who wants to go first?
Oh, I'm happy to go first.
Okay, Scott. And what's your dog's name, mate?
Bo.
Bo. Okay. Crack on then, Scott, because you were at the game today.
Yeah, so I was really geared up for this game. I've said many times before, like, I had a good feeling about this. I honestly thought at first it was going to be 2-0. Then I've told you earlier on, Dave, that I thought actually I'll change it to a 2-1 so I could see Chelsea getting a goal. No way did I ever think it was going to go 6-2, especially after the performance of the first half. It just shows how bad our defence is as a back four. And it also shows how we need to make some changes, otherwise it's going to be a very long season. So, just going by the first half to begin with, I like the way Larson and Kuna established a good partnership. Larson, by no means, is not a selfish striker at all. He was putting things on the plate for Kuna, which led to one of the goals that was scored, and then he nicked one himself as well from a training ground routine. And I just love how they were with one another and they're both picking each other up and talking to each other on the pitch. Larson, trying to get the crowd behind the lads and everything. And when we went down a goal, we were straight back into it. We were fighting for every ball. Like the beginning of the game, we were rocky and we were on the back foot. But once we established a stamp on the game, like, I wasn't worried about the first half at all. But again, the first half gave us a glimpse of what was to come in the second half, because Sarr was way off his line for that second goal. And it just showed once again that Sarr is a liability for us at the back at the moment. And then coming to the second half, I've expected kind of more of the same, but I was expecting us to be the one taking hold of the game and cracking on. I didn't expect it to go the way it did. And we rattled Chelsea in that first half. We had them rattled. And in the second half, as soon as they scored their third goal, they rattled us. And literally we fell to pieces. And they got another 2 goals straight away. And it was just a shambles to watch. That second half was embarrassing to watch. And I felt sorry for our strikers and our midfield who were trying to do stuff and trying to get us forward, only to be let down by the back. The only person I can say I was happy with from the back was Doc, because Doc would get forward, he would get back. Aït-Nouri would get forward, but wouldn't get back. And when he did, he couldn't defend for Toffee. Then Totti didn't look good to me. Yerson probably had his worst game he's had with us so far. And Sarr, I don't want to criticise Sarr too much, but
Jason,
he worries me.
Jason, if you want to come in with your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, listen to me. It was a game of 2 halves. What undone us initially in the first half, obviously we go a goal down, which doesn't help. Yes, it's pleasing to get back into the game, and I echo Scott's point massively that I thought Strand Larson and Cunha linked up well. It was encouraging to see 2 hungry strikers up top. He was very, very unselfish, Strand Larson, and Scott's quite right. He put a couple of chances on a plate for Cunha. So we got back into the game. Then the Palmer goal. I mean, we're all at 6s and 7s. We'd worked hard to get back into the game, and then we give away. We give her a ridiculous goal. So obviously we get undone at the start of the second half as well, and then it was just a complete onslaught. And you have got to look at the fact that we have not got the personnel to play 4 at the back, whichever way you look at it. So our back 4 today, this is a relegation back 4. If we play these 4 all season, this is a relegation back 4. Doherty, Mosquera, Totti, and Aït-Nouri. Aït-Nouri, by the way, I've got nothing against. I think Aït-Nouri is a great player. I think Aït-Nouri, obviously we can all see, Stevie Wonder can see that he's a lot better at getting forward than he's defending, right? But we can't lay it all at his feet. Why on earth Gary O'Neill took Aït-Nouri, who is a player who's likely to get you a goal? Once again with Cunha, I can't understand the decision to hook Cunha, but 100% can't understand the decision to hook Aït-Nouri when Mosquera and Totti were. Listen to me, they're just. I made my comments on Twitter today. You know, they are awful centre halves. There's always a mistake for me in Totti, and I've been saying this week in, week out. He looks cumbersome on the ball. He looks awkward. He's very one-footed. And with him and Mosquera, I just thought that was really, really poor today. And like I said, game of 2 halves. That second half, it was just a complete onslaught. There was individual errors. There was team errors. I mean, Doherty looked. This is how bad we were today. Doherty looked the best defender in that back 4, but we have not got the personnel to play back 4. Why on earth he kept Dawson on the bench for so long in that second half? I've got no idea. When it got to 3-2, which was straight after half time, he should have got Dawson on straight away because we could all see what was happening in the defence. Why Mosquera let the ball bounce as well for when Palmer? I mean, it was a great finish by Palmer, but that ball should never been allowed to bounce, in my opinion. It was just poor. We shouldn't have started with a back 4. We should have started with a back 5. For me, Santiago Bueno and Craig Dawson have got to come in next game, because if we, even though arguably you could argue that the opposition next week is going to be poorer than Chelsea, they're still, Forest, after a win this week, are going to rip us to pieces.
Interestingly, I'll come back to you myself on some of those points in a bit. We're going to go to Liam next, and then Chris. I don't know, Chris. If Chris watched my reaction, he would probably have had a wry smile if he's watched the instant reaction that I did after the game. But Liam, you messaged to say you want to come on. You've got some points you'd like to make.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting mistaken with this back 4, because when we had Lopetegui in that second half of that season, we played with a back 4. We were quite solid. We weren't conceding goals at home. This is not, for me personally, this isn't the back 4 issue. We're playing a high line. We're high pressing. Dawson and Bueno can't do that. That's why they're not playing. And by no means, I'm not saying I agree we should be playing like this, because I don't think it's work. I don't think it will work. For me, at half time, O'Neill should have been able to tell that this game was open. Chelsea could have scored 5. So could have we, but the game was way too open, and that's only going to suit Chelsea, really. So I think it's not more back 5 or back 4. We can play the back 4. It's just the high line and the high pressing system that we're doing, and that only suits Totti and Mosquera. Bueno and Dawson aren't quick enough in the slightest to play a back 4 that high and be able to press. O'Neill said it himself about when Dawson was marking Haaland last season at Molineux, he wouldn't be able to do it at the halfway line, but if he's in and around his own box playing a deep line, he'd be able to defend against anybody. So for me, it's not more the back 4s came in and we're not very good. We can't play the back 4, because I think we can. We just need to bring the defender in. And personally, I put on Twitter today, if we want to carry on with the back 4 and this exact system, the caliber of player that we need to be looking at has to be levels above Dario O'Shea. And if that's the best that we're plucking up at the minute, then I'd start to think maybe play a deeper line or revert back to a back 5. But it's like everybody else has said already, the defence was absolutely shocking today. I think in the second half, I'm not mainly blaming Aït-Nouri, but that's 3 goals down our left-hand side. Madueke scoring the hat-trick. And that isn't acceptable. As a football player, you've got to be able to highlight that whilst you're on the pitch and start thinking, they're always coming down this side, we need to stop it. Again, defence was absolutely shambolic. But there's already been a couple of points already. I think the first half we were very good going forwards. I think there's been a lot of attention on the Neto replacement. But for me, I think we really, really need to improve the spine. And by spine, I mean the defence, really. If we can solidify this defence, if O'Neill wants to keep this high pressing line, then you definitely can't play that system against a top 6 club or even a Villa, Brighton, I'd go as far as saying West Ham at the minute. You can't play against those teams who are going to easily break you down. You've got to have a bit of variety with your system and how you play. And for me personally, I just think we need to drop a bit deeper. I think if Dawson plays next to Mosquera, I think that's our best two at the minute, because Totti's had two really uninspiring games back to back. I think, and today, even though he didn't have the best of games, I've been really, really impressed by Mosquera. If we play Dawson next to Mosquera, because we know how quick Mosquera can be, he recovered in the first half. I think Jackson was through on goal. He recovered very well. If you have him kind of covering Dawson and then Dawson, getting the ball down, playing with it, I think that's a good two. But saying that, I do think we need to bring in a centre back, and I said it on the video today. If we want to play the system we're playing, we are going. This is the extreme we're at. We are going to need a Van Dijk, and we're never going to be able to bring somebody in of that calibre. So it's whether Gary O'Neill looks at what he's been doing and tries to tweak things. But yeah, I do think that it is a bit mistaken saying, oh, it's the back four, when I just think we're playing a high line. Chelsea are a good team. I think my dad said it to me today. They've got really, really good players. If they can form that into a team, Chelsea are really, really dangerous. And that's what people seem to forget. They only lost 2-0 to City last week. And I think they will have a good season as long as they put all these players into a team. And I think today we kind of saw that, and it was at our expense, really.
Absolutely. There's some great points made as, again, young Liam, to be honest. Chris, okay, let's hear what your assessment.
I think, well, I'm a little bit bewildered by it all, to be honest, Dave, because nothing that's happened today has surprised me. You know what I've been saying for weeks about Mr. Aït-Nouri. 2 goals against Arsenal that he was culpable for, possibly 3 today. He can't play in a back four as a left back. We need to play a back five. We haven't got the personnel, as the lads have said, for a back four. So let's just play a back five. Or, at the very worst, play Aït-Nouri as a winger instead of Wang. Because Wang absolutely was nowhere to be seen on that pitch today. I love Wang to bits, but he's restricted because he's not playing. He's playing down one side. You could see he wants to get his ball on his right foot all the time. So, but we've let Bueno go out on loan, so we don't have another left back anymore. Totti has a mistake in him, but Totti's also got this buffoon on the left of him. And as a centre half, if you've got that going on by the side of you, of course your game's going to be off, because you don't know whether you need to be over there because he isn't where he should be in your own position. It's an absolute nightmare, and it just throws the whole back four off. Jason was right that Doherty was the best player in that back four today, and for 60 minutes of that game he was injured. You know, he was limping, he wasn't running properly, but it was really noticeable to me. Very, very little attacks, even when they brought Neto, came down that right wing, our right back, and everything was coming down the left. I just, what bewilders me about it all is that the manager is playing. I just don't know what he's doing. I can't believe he thinks, even after 60 minutes of that game, he thinks it's still right to play a back four, because that's what he did. I just can't see. He's not. I'm beginning to wonder whether he is the tactical genius that we seem to think he is, because that today was awful, and unfortunately, it's on his watch.
It is, and look, Gary O'Neill, obviously, he's got his new contract. Gary O'Neill's very set on playing this back four. I've watched every preseason game. I've watched Yerson Mosquera play. Yerson Mosquera is a very, very good defender. I don't really have this that Yerson Mosquera is not good enough. He is, for me, more than good enough. In terms of Ryan Aït-Nouri, he's a great player, incredibly technical player. He made the second goal for us. You know, what he did, the layoff to Cunha. But there he is, playing in the middle of the park, running towards the middle of the goal. You know, not in a real general left back position. He's very skillful and he draws players to him. And the space opened up. He laid it off, and he's got all of that. But I think, Chris, like you've been making the point for the last couple of weeks about Ryan Aït-Nouri and the full back position, and I referenced it on my instant match reaction with Magic and Sensation. I referenced you, Chris. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
No.
I did reference that. You know, that was the point that you've been making about the back four, and Ryan Aït-Nouri is a fullback, is a wing back rather than a fullback. Brilliant going forward. Can draw players to him. Is incredible, but like defensively, is his first. That's his priority. Doc, I think what Jason said on the other side, Matt Doherty, you know, his defensive position was so much better in terms of like managing that right side. They clearly identified a weakness that, look, he's going to go up. There's going to be space over there. And, you know, what I was really annoyed about was, and someone's referenced it, set piece coaches. We've got a set piece coach. We did score off a set piece today. It was a great set piece that we scored off as well. But like the second minute of the game, we've got a corner. They score off a set piece. It's like we're in the dressing room. We wobbled back for about 10 minutes. Then we played some incredibly, some of the football we played in that first half was scintillating. It was brilliant. Going forward, we look a top team. And we've had two goals disallowed. We've had another one that's deflected onto the bar. You know, we've scored two very, very good goals. Kuna took his goal well. A lot sharper today. And then the set piece goal that we got back in, Strand Larson, who I thought had a great game, scored his first goal. If you'd have said at half time 2-2, we were going to lose that game 6-2, I couldn't have seen it coming. I thought we looked at times like we had Chelsea rattled, really, really rattled. But we come out in the second half again and it's like we're asleep. We're not reacting to it. I've seen us 3 times now. I saw it twice in pre-season. A long ball down the field, Crystal Palace scored. That was pre-season. A long ball down the field, RB Leipzig scored. Identical goals. And then it's a long ball from a goal kick, pretty much, down the field. And we've got so many players up front. Yerson's exposed. Sarr is running back towards goal and has lost the ball, really, and is out of position. And it's a great lob from Cole Palmer. He puts it in. He's a quality player, but like, you know, that's their second goal. But the third goal, we fell asleep. They've moved the ball, and Ryan Aït-Nouri is there to block it. He kind of doesn't really block it properly. It takes a deflection, it goes in, and then we fell apart. For the next 2 goals, Ryan Aït-Nouri is out of position. There's an overlap. Sarr can't do anything about that. He does his best. And then they're 5-2 up after 62 minutes, and the game's gone. And
Dave, he also Aït-Nouri in the first 4 or 5 minutes, he showed the winger inside when they were attacking. Nothing came of it, but he did exactly what he did with Saka. He hadn't even learned from last week. He let Saka come inside and get a shot. He did it twice within the first 4 or 5 minutes today. Just defensively, naive he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and I think someone's made the point as well about Wang today. I'm like you, you know, Wang can be a brilliant player, but I just thought he didn't want it today.
But I think the thing is with Wang, I don't think he is a winger. I saw it loads of times today. When he's got the ball in a deep position, he tries to take it past. I think he did it against Arsenal last week, and a couple of years back he did it at Newcastle, and he assisted, I think it was St. Maximin. He's not a winger. He's a striker for me. He's a player that plays right at the top, and when he has the ball, there's no real pressure for him to not lose it. Because today we were deep in our half. he's got the ball in a tight corner. He's just trying to take it past. You put your body in the way and you shield that ball. You don't try and do little tricks. I think for me, Hwang is playing a bit too deep. I don't think he is a winger. I think he is a striker. We've had better performances from him when he is played as a striker for me.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, but it's effort and energy. Liam, he just likes, there's times like when he didn't run for the ball, he could have chased it, closed down. When we're playing that high press up the pitch, you need everyone to buy into doing that.
But I don't think he was the only one doing that though. I think the first half he was okay at doing that. He was in the second half and we would lose him quite bad. We weren't playing the best. He wasn't in the game at all. You see this with a lot of top players. When they're not in the game, they're swinging about. They're doing loads of tackles. So I don't think that's anything different. Obviously, it's not encouraging, but I can guarantee if he was playing striker, I don't think we would have had that same playing performance as we saw today.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, Jason, what's your take on all of that?
Well, I didn't hear half of it, Dave. I flipping got cut off. Sorry, mate. I disappeared. I don't know if you've seen.
Oh, yeah, I saw that you popped out. I mean, we're talking about Hwang there. He's a forward.
Yeah,
he's not
listen,
I don't think he's a central striker, personally. Because if he was a central striker, we wouldn't be bringing Larson in, would we?
I agree, but I agree with Liam. He's more effective down the middle than he's out on the wing. Yeah. I mean, you look at when Sarabia comes on. Sarabia's got his doubters, but that player keeps the ball in possession, in tight spaces. He always looks comfortable on the ball. Very, very rarely does he make a mistake. Podence is the same, actually. You look at Podence, and when they come on, we did actually retain possession marginally, a little bit better. But the fault lies at the defence with me, personally. That's my opinion. Like I said, I don't disagree with Liam again. I think, if we could play four at the back, great, but we need the right personnel. And the players we've had at the back today are not the right personnel. Mosquera and Totti Gomez, for me, are absolute liabilities. I mean,
mate, I can't agree with you, unfortunately, on Mosquera, mate. I've watched him a lot.
I think together they're liabilities. I don't think individually.
Yeah, Mosquera's a really, really good player.
Well, Dave, whichever way you look at it, we've shipped 6 goals in today.
We have, but I don't think
that came down the left side, didn't it?
I don't think you can blame Mosquera for shipping 6 goals in. He was the only one defending.
So you can't blame Mosquera for the Cole Palmer goal.
Not why would he? Why is he solely a thing? He's the only one back.
Yeah, for that goal. Yeah, we still put it out of play. Anything, he's let it bounce. He could have got to that ball first and put it out of play. Listen, this is my opinion, Dave. Right? He could have got to that ball first and put it out of play. That's all he needed to do. He's let it bounce. The lads then knocked it in. Cole Palmer scored, so he's at fault.
I agree with that.
Regardless, he's at fault.
I agree with that. I do think it's a very difficult ball to deal with, but as a Premier League player, I do agree.
Premier League player, the best league in the world. If you want to play for a Premier League club, that should be bread and butter to you. You should just put that out of play. Just get your head to it first. Bang. Who wants it more? I tell you who wants it more. That Chelsea player who got round the back and put it into Cole Palmer and put it in the net and Sars miles off his line. There was all at 6s and 7s. We can't get away with that in the Premier League. Yes, against some teams, against an Ipswich, we might get away with it. Against teams like Chelsea, they're going to punish us every time. And then that was like a knife through butter on us, Dave. Look at the second half. We lost 4-0.
Mate, they were a knife through butter, and they were running at us, and there was overlaps everywhere. We literally fell apart. We fell apart.
We did fall apart. And then the other thing, the playing out from the back. I'll bring this point up again. We lost 6-0 at Brighton. We're 5-0 down. We keep playing it from the back. We're low on confidence. Today, we're low on confidence. Each one of them defenders has made a mistake at some point today. Whether they've cost us a goal or not is irrelevant. They're making mistakes all over the park. Then they're deciding to play it across the back. You're telling me your heart's not in your mouth? Because every time it goes to Totti Gomez, I'm going, what's going to happen here? We haven't got the personnel, one, to play a back four out on that pitch today. And we certainly haven't got the confidence and the personnel to play it across the back. Just, you know what? In moments like that, it cost us against Coventry last season. In moments like this, we're shipping goals in for fun. Get it up the other end of the pitch where they can't hurt us. Don't start playing tippy-tappy football across the back when we're low on confidence and we're shipping in goals like we are. In 2 games, we've let 8 goals in. The Arsenal match, I didn't think we played too badly in, but it was still 2 avoidable goals. Today, I haven't even analysed the goals because I could give you 2 or 3 mistakes in the build-up to where it got to. So, for me, Dave...
Definitely. All the goals are definitely avoidable. Go on, Scott.
So, just to add to that, I agree. Like, every time we play it from the back, with this back four, with this keeper, it is like you're on edge. You don't know what's going to happen because I don't trust a single one of them today, except for Doc with the ball at the back. Because when it got to a point where they played amongst themselves and then eventually they give it to Sarr to like boot it upfield, even then, most of the balls he kicked upfield went out of play.
Well, hang on. When he booted upfield, why didn't they just do that to start with? Because invariably they can't play themselves out of the danger. So what do? Put it back to Sarr and he hoofs it up. Do you know what? Just hoof it up ready and just set your play up for that. Because we can't play against a team like Chelsea with these 4 at the back. And ain't Nori, yes, he's not a defender, I get it, but he's skillful. And what he'll do is he will keep possession. He will get himself out of trouble. I don't trust Totti to get himself out of trouble if there's 2 Chelsea players around him. That's the difference. But he should be playing a lot further up the park. But today, we haven't got a left back. He's had to play there.
He don't always get himself out of trouble, Jace.
Chris,
he don't always get himself out of trouble, Jace. He's cost us 2 goals by running into midfield and losing the ball.
Chris, I'm not saying there's no culpability on him today because there is. He's a defender. And all 4 of them, I've said, have all made mistakes at some point. But I trust him on the ball a lot more than Mosquera, Totti and Doc. That's my personal opinion. I trust him a lot more.
But Jason, like, when you've got Ryan Ait-Nouri that's up the pitch and there's a massive gap because he ain't there.
Yeah, I get that.
Pardon?
I get that. I understand that because it's a back 4. That's not an Ait-Nouri today. It's a back 4. If in a back 5, he's got the freedom to go up and down.
But Jason, it is on Ryan Ait-Nouri because he's playing that position and he ain't there.
Okay, that's fair enough.
So how can it not be on his fault if he's gone?
Gary O'Neill's in the dressing room. Gary O'Neill's in the dressing room. This is the team today, guys. Oh, Ryan Ait-Nouri, I'm not playing if I'm left back. Of course, he ain't going to say that he's going to play. But I'm saying it's the manager chose that team today. He's picked 4 players there who are, if those 4 players play there all season, we're getting relegated. I'm telling you now. And I'm not flipping out. The dogs attacked him. If we play those 4 defenders all season, we are going down. It's as simple as that. I don't think we're going to go down because we're not going to stick with them 4 defenders, right? So
we've only got 5 days to change it, Jace.
Yeah, I know.
This brings in another question because, like, we've let Hugo Bueno go out on loan, who is a left back, which I thought was a bit surprising. And Kilman was sold. And if I think Emma made this point, she said if like playing this back 4 system is what they're going to do, then why is it that those positions weren't the top priority come the start of the window to bring people in to play that in pre-season? And we're like 5 days out from the end of the season. Yeah, they bought in Tommy Doyle, they bought in Rodrigo Gomez, Pedro Lima's coming, who's kind of like a fullback wingback, and obviously we've got the number 9 Jurgen Strand Larsen, which was a priority. But like, if the new obviously Kilman's going and we're playing a back 4. How come we're 5 days out? That's a priority, surely. And Emma made a really good point. You'd think that would be a top priority. We're going to play this way. We need to bring people in that fit that system. But we're 5 days away, and we haven't brought anyone else in.
This is why I was getting all wound up about the transfer window and lack of activity. And if you look at the right backs, we've got. Or right wing backs, we've got Pedro Lima, we've got Doherty, we've got Nelson Semedo, we've got Dexter Lembikisa, who's an international player now that's played well on loan last year. So you've got 4 on the right side, we've got Bueno and Ait-Nouri on the left, and we've let one of them go on loan. I just cannot understand what's going on in their heads. Where are the guys coming in to replace them?
And this is what annoys me as well. We get a deal come through where we have bought a centre back, But again, it's one for the future. It's not one for now. Like
you rate this 18-year-old, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, he would never have got caught out of that goal like Yerson did today. I
think he would have. If
stuff.
he's an 18-year-old and it's his debut, I think he definitely would have. I don't think he would have had a very good game today.
No, I've watched him play.
I've never really seen him.
I've watched him play. He'll clear the ball. He'll clear the ball. He's a monster. He won't get beat like that over
You seem to think, Chris, that this lad from Nantes is going to be by Christmas. He's going to be the centre-back pairing. You reckon?
Yeah, I am, because as we've now found out today, Dave, we haven't got any players, so he ain't got any opposition, really, has he?
What about Santiago Bueno?
Well, O'Neill doesn't like it. I thought he was a decent enough centre half, but he hasn't. He's not an O'Neill sinking, is he? He didn't even bring him on today. He brought Dawson on, so I don't quite know what's going on.
This is what I think with the Burnley game now. We've got to try and change a few things with some personnel just to see if it works with other personnel. Like, we haven't seen nothing from Pedro Lima yet in the Premier League. He ain't even made the bench. You add into the fact that, like, you've got Dawson and Bueno on the bench, and Bueno didn't even come on today. Like Chris just said, these guys need to be given a chance to work in this system. If this is the system we're going to be playing, otherwise we've got to change the system fast.
I think they've already experimented that, though. I can guarantee you today, if Dawson and Santiago Bueno were playing next to each other in a back four, we were playing that system, we would have held 10. They would have scored about 10, 11, because they can't. We saw it at Brighton last season. And I think this is another good point. I think everybody's getting a bit upset about our start or whatever. It's a very, very similar start to what we had last season. I think I can remember losing, I think it was 4-1 to Brighton. We got thumped in that second half. It was very much a similar story to what happened today. And it was when Dawson was playing a high line and they played a ball over the top and Dawson couldn't keep up. Mosquera literally stopped that exact same situation today. Our problem at the minute is the back four can't work as a unit. It's very good at recovering, but the fact we're getting to that position that they have to recover, that's the thing that's not very encouraging for me. But we did have a similar start last season. We had a decent performance against United, still lost, and we got thumped to Brighton. It's a very, very similar start. So everybody's saying, oh, O'Neill out or we're going to get relegated. I think that's very premature. I think the result's still very, very raw. And
who's saying O'Neill out?
I've seen a couple chats at the moment, Dave. I've seen a couple tweets.
Seriously, 2 games in. I think it's 1 win in 14 or something like that, but obviously the end of last season.
That's different, yeah. That's way different because he's playing Shawome and Fraser last season. The one win in 14, obviously it's not very nice to look at, but it's different situations. There's about 5 months between that. It's a long period of time, and we had the amount of injuries we had up front. That's never going to help, is it?
No, Chris, was it Chris or Totti's biggest fan? Were you going to come in there?
Me?
No. All I was going to say was my internet is as bad as Totti Gomez.
Fantastic. All right then, guys. So, look, obviously everyone's got opinions on the back four. I mean, my opinion on the back four personally is like, I can see what everyone's saying, but I've seen us play quite well in that back four and play some good football. We're scoring good goals. We've been a bit naive with the stuff. I think they need to bring in. In some ways, I'm kind of glad that this result has happened today, not next week or the week after, because you've got people sitting there that can open the purse strings, and it's 5 days before the transfer window. So, like, if we'd have lost 3-2, perhaps not 6-2, maybe it'll sort of open a bit, open those purse strings a bit more and go, do you know what? It's there for everyone to see, and
it's certainly won't open Foden's wallets. That's the only thing you won't do.
Well, it's there for all to see. It's like at the end of the day, it's glaringly obvious to everyone as fans where the problem seems to be. I do not think Gary O'Neill is going to switch back to a back five anytime soon. I just don't see him doing that. He's played a back four every single game in pre-season and this, and you saw Arteta with Arsenal when he was trying to change the football, and there was a lot of a meltdown with that, and they weren't quite getting it right. Okay, Arsenal probably a different point in case, but it came good in the end. And it's like, is it going to be panic and then go back to a back five and go from there, or is he going to stick with what he knows? I think it's too early to say whether he'll switch back. We've lost 2-0 away to Arsenal, and we were in the game for long periods, and we've lost 2-0. We were very much in the game against Chelsea today. In the first half, it was a brilliant performance going forward. And then the first, like you say, whoever said it's like the Brighton game last year, we conceded 3 quick goals at the start of the second half. It's almost like an identikit thing. So I'm not sure whether he will switch, whether he will switch and go to Yerson and Dawson. But we've got to bring in a fullback. I think it's a worry. Semedo will be back as well after Burnley, because I think that's his 3rd game suspension. So I think Semedo will be back. It wouldn't surprise me if Doc switches over to the left and Semedo switches over to the right, and he plays Doherty on the left and Semedo on the right, and then Ryan. Yeah.
For me, sorry to interrupt. For me, in a 4, Totti's best position is a left back, because when Lopetegui was in, he was playing left back. I think it was Dawson and Kilman. I really rated Totti playing there, and he's got less responsibility. And if that means we push Ait-Nouri forwards, I don't know, because in the system we're playing, for me, if I'm honest, I don't know what Ait-Nouri's best position is, because I don't think he's very good in the final. I don't think he's majorly good in the final third. I think we've got better players at that, but he's very good in the middle of the park. So it depends how O'Neill wants to.
He can run the ball upfield.
He's a good ball player.
Let's look at some positives out today. Strand Larsen, I love the way he was cheering the crowd up. I love the fact that he got in there to get the goal. He was winning headers. He was holding the ball up. He seemed strong. I think that's a positive. He looks like he's going to be good for us. I thought Matthias Cunha, in the role that he's got, especially in the first half behind the front three, he's got a very free role and he comes late. And I thought that worked quite well. I think we fell apart at the start of the second and we disintegrated and they were running through us. But I thought Cunha and Larson did well. I thought Joe Gomez put in a lot of work again. Lamina, for the I don't know whether it was a goal that was disallowed. Some brilliant work from him as well. So, we've got some positives that are in there. It's just that I think everyone can see midfield-wise and forward-wise, we look good. It's just naivety at the back. Jason, can you go with your performance rating and man of the match to pick out of that, please?
I'm going to split the performance rating. I'm going to go first half. I'm going to go 7 out of 10 because I thought that towards the 20 minutes of the first half, we dominated the game. I was sitting next to John Purdy today, ex-Wolves playing. It was quite good to analyse the game with him throughout. He's very insightful. And we actually did both agree that we thought we was going to come out and win because I just thought it was a really strong end to the first half. So 7 out of 10 first half. Second half, I've got to give 0 out of 10. We've just shipped 4 goals in. We're 0 out of 10. What was the other question, Dave? Man of the match?
Who are you going to give it to out of that performance today?
I don't know, Dave. I'm going to give it to Pablo Sarabia. And the reason I give it to him, he kept the ball well. He didn't put a foot wrong. He made some intelligent passes and some intelligent moves. I know he didn't play for that long, but the rest all made mistakes for me throughout the game. And the moment of the match.
Yeah, for you, or your highlight of your day?
The highlight of my day was that full-time whistle going.
When it was over. Thank God for that.
Oh, yeah. For the first time in about 3 seasons, I've wanted to get home to screaming kids.
That says it all, doesn't it, mate? Scott, same to you.
Overall for the match, 4. That was my rating. I think first half we were decent. Second half ruined it all completely. All the hard work that was done in the first half was ruined in the second half. So 4 for me. Man of the match, Larson. He got an assist. He got a goal. He was during the crowd up. He was fighting for every ball that he could. He looked a little bit lost in the second half, but I'm not surprised with what shambles came out the second half. but he still kept fighting. So Larson for me gets man of the match. Highlight for the day would probably be the fact that we was back at Molineux for a Premier League game, and I got to see a lot of my mates I haven't seen for a while. Plus, I just want to mention as well, it was good to see Podence again back out on the pitch in a Wolves kit like he was against Arsenal. Because I agree with Jason. Sarabia didn't do a thing wrong, but neither did Podence either. I think both of them came on with the intent of trying to change the game in some kind of way towards getting us a goal or two back, and it just wasn't meant to be.
Liam.
What is it? Man of the match, performance rating, and moment of the day.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same as Jason. I'm going to split it in two halves. I think the first half, I'm going to say 5 out of 10. I think we were very good going forward, but I think people are quick to forget we were leaking at the back as well, and we could have conceded 5 in that first half. So it wasn't. It was a very much story. The attack was really good, but at the back we weren't very well. The second half, 0 out of 10. There's no questions about that. That's absolute mockery. Man of the match, I'm going to go with Strand Larson, same as Scott. I think he was very good way he's throwing himself about. I think you kind of compare him to Kalajdzic because of how tall they are, but I feel like Strand Larson is a bit more stocked out. He seems faster. He seems more about it than Kalajdzic ever was. So it's really encouraging. I also want to say, I think Cunha looked a different level today in that first half. I think when he was playing in that role, I think it really, really suits him. And he's a top player. I think the fact we've kept him this summer is huge for us. And hopefully, if he stays fit this season, he'll have a really good season. And moment of the day, I generally don't think I have one, Dave. The moment of the day is right now that I'm here with you guys.
I love it. Chris?
That's when you know it's a bad day.
Get him go.
Dave, I look at it a little bit different than everybody else. The way I look at football is, if you don't let any goals in, you don't get beat. If you can't score goals, you don't win, but you still get a point. And so defensively, organisation, all that sort of stuff, very important to me. So
you played fullback. I saw a bit of that the other night when you came out of retirement for after 30 years, had a bit of a kick.
I'm still limping now from it, so I won't be doing it again. I can't look past a 2 or a 3 for that performance because it was just so defensively bad. Yes, as Liam said, we only let 2 in the first half, but there could have been 4 or 5. It was shocking. So, unfortunately, that's my score. Man of the match, I have to give it to Cunha. I can't really understand why we took him off. He was.
I think Chris, is because I think it's probably because he got 30 minutes last week. He got 60 minutes this week. I think it's because he's been out
injured. Yeah, that's probably the reason. But yeah, that probably dimmed any light that was at the end of the tunnel there, really, in that game for us at that point when he went off. So he would be my man of the match. Stan Larson. I've not really seen him play too much, and had my eye on him for the first 5 or 6 minutes, and actually said, "Oh, he don't really look much cop," but he grew into the game, and I thought he was all right. And it's nice to see us having a striker that gets into the box and lunges for a ball.
Absolutely.
So that was good. Moment of the day, probably. For some bizarre reason, there was no traffic on the way home. So I was home by 25 to 5, which is great.
Everyone had gone by the 60th minute.
Probably.
Fantastic. Right, guys, I'm going to put a couple of international fans who have sent in their videos for their thoughts next. So when we come back, someone to cheer us up and your thoughts looking ahead to Burnley and Forest before we get to the second half. So got a couple of videos I'm going to play. First of all, from Italy.
Hi everyone, it's Asa from Parma here. Not an easy one, really. Good job from the forward. Good job from the forward, but the performance at the back was awful. It was pure rubbish. All of them, the defense and Sa. I feel pretty sorry for Cunha and Larsen, who did the equalizer 2 times. They did great. The forward, as I said, did great. The problem was the defense. We managed to end the first half with a 2-2. Great match for the first 45 minutes. While in the second half, basically, Chelsea played against no one, because I didn't see Wolves playing. We were there physically, but apparently mentally we were absolutely somewhere else. Still on holiday, I have no idea. We knew as soon as they, let's say, dropped the schedule, it would have been a difficult start of the season. Against Arsenal, against Chelsea, next one hopefully will be a bit better. Will be against Forest away. So yeah, we knew it, but 6 goals at home. Okay, it's Chelsea, but 6 goals at home. Really not good. So 2 games, 0 points, 2 defeat. Pretty bad defeat. So let's hope for the next one. Let's hope to get obviously the 3 points, maybe 1 anyway, to move from the bottom and to start playing, to start to defend as well, because the defense is, as far as I could see, is a big problem this year. Maybe it's still early, we don't know, but as far as I could see, this is a problem right now. So hopefully the next one will be better, maybe with 5 at the back and not 4. We'll see. In a week against Nottingham Forest. Bye, guys.
Hey, Dave. Well, not sure where to start with that. Losing 6-2 at home to that Chelsea team is horrible. After giving Arsenal such a good run last week and having such a lot to build on, defending's got to be fixed. Every time Chelsea came forward, times in the first half and most of the second half, you thought they were going to score, and that's just not good enough. There was one time when they're in number 11, I refused to say his name. Actually, I don't even know his name. Is that irrelevant to me? The bloke who said that nasty stuff about our town, our wonderful Wolverhampton. I don't even know his name, don't care what his name is. Him and Cole Palmer came forward, and Totti had both of them to mark out of the game. So the best defender in the world can't mark 2 players out of the game. So the defending as a team has to be fixed. It seemed like we fell asleep a couple of times at free kicks, etc. So we need to be hard to score against and hard to beat. And then let's pick up on the brilliant attacking play that we had today. We had a lot going forward, but it doesn't help when you let 6 in at the other end. So one comment on VAR, we didn't lose to VAR today. We lost to terrible defending, but our first equaliser, the stadium VAR said that Cunha was offside, even though he was behind the ball. So brilliant. And then their second goal, which was pretty embarrassing defending, and Kazar was way too off his line. But apparently the goal kick, the ball was moving, so it should have been pulled back. So well done, VAR. You're as incompetent as ever. So clearly we're not going to get any help from VAR this season, just like the last 5 years. So let's take care of our own business and shore up that defence. However we need to do it. Start Dawson maybe. Smart head on his shoulders. Get some strength in depth. Go to a back 3. Whatever we need to do, because we got to be harder to score against. And then I think we got a lot of promise going forward. So we learned a lot today. Not a lot of very nice stuff, but hopefully Gary's up for the task, and we'll turn it around. So that's it. Talk to you later, Dave. Terrible day. Up the Wolves.
So yeah, a couple of fans that today, New York Wolves over in Wolverhampton today. We have a couple more. We have one from America and one from Greece a little bit later. So we're going to go back to Jason now, looking ahead to Burnley and Forest, mate, and give us something to cheer us up, or a joke or something. what are your thoughts ahead of that? Do you think we can get something?
Put me on the spot, why don't you, Dave? A joke. There was two buckets of sick, right, walking down the road, and one started crying. And the other one said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "I was brought up here."
Right.
It. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got a couple of charity events coming up. We've got one on the 19th of September. We've got a golf day. We've got Neil Razorwood coming down for that. We've got loads of ex-Wolves players. That's at Purton Park, now the Mount Golf Club. So that's a fundraiser for the usual charities. And we've got on the 26th of September, George Elokobi. So I've got some Cameroon flags going up at the Mount. That's going to be a really, really good event. And Matt Murray's hosting it. I'm there as well, obviously. And that's going to be a really good event. So
yeah, I'm going to be there for
that. And this Wednesday, I'm going to be doing your watch along, Dave. I really enjoyed doing it against the Arsenal. I wouldn't have enjoyed it so much today, but yeah, I enjoyed it. So I'll be doing the watch along for you on Wednesday. So I'm just doing my prep now, so I can see how bad Wolves are going to be.
Mate, I appreciate that. You had fun doing it. I think this time, the second one, because you were in Devon the last time, I think you'll be a little more chilled out. You've done your first one as well.
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed it, Dave. Everyone was really kind. I was obviously finding the ropes myself, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Thank you.
No, absolutely, mate. So to you, Scott.
What was the question?
Something to cheer us up. Thoughts ahead of Burnley and Forest.
Something to cheer us up, please. We've only got to play Chelsea one more time.
Normally, I quite like playing Chelsea. We've had a good run against them, but not today.
Sorry, I'm being attacked by the dog. Dog wants to me around. Looking forward to Burnley though. For me, it's a chance to see some of the lads that we haven't seen play yet, like Pedro Lima and stuff. But ideally, it'd be nice to get a win just to boost morale within the all supporters and boost morale within the group itself. But I don't think it's going to be an easy game. It's obviously not going to be a sellout either. There's not going to be many of us there. I'm there. But yeah, I'm hoping we can get a win, have a good cup run this year, and hopefully learn from our mistakes from last year.
Give us something to cheer us up then, Scott. Is that the Chelsea thing? We're going to play them again. Is that the best you've got? You got a joke?
Was it a joke? Our back four.
I like it. Liam, on to you.
There's this little food van on the corner, and they've got quite nice chips. That's my thing to cheer about. And I'm not really looking forward to Burnley because it's a Carabao Cup game. I've never really enjoyed the first Carabao Cup game. And in all honesty, I'm not looking forward to Forest because we always lose there. So that sums up for me.
Do we always lose there though? Because I think we drew, haven't we?
Well, we never win. Let's
never win. Okay. First time for everything. Cheerful, what you got for us?
To cheer you up.
Cheer everyone up.
I suppose we could look at it like this, Dave. There's already 5% of the season gone, so we haven't got much longer of it to put up.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because it's 5% of the season's gone already. But yeah. No, there's not much to be cheerful out of that today. I mean, the only thing I can say is that I hope that we all talk a lot about garbage and the team goes on to do everything that we said they can't do tonight, because I think we've all pretty much said the same thing. Let's hope that these 5 days that we've got coming up, Fosun spend some money and recruit the players that we can obviously see that's needed. And Gary O'Neill must definitely know he's needed, because I'm slightly worried that if we don't recruit and we don't get the kind of players he needs, he might start getting a bit fed up with it. It's a theme that's gone on with the last four managers. that they've got to Windows and not got the acquisitions they were hoping for. They've all ended up coming out and saying something similar, you know. And I don't really ever see any other clubs saying the same thing. I don't see clubs doing that. I don't see clubs not buying people. I don't see clubs selling £100 million worth of players and, you know, not really replacing them.
Basically what the message is coming is like, get the checkbook open, bring the players in to play the system that you want to play, and do it and make sure it's done. Otherwise, we could be regretting it. Is that the message?
I think so, and I think I have to say that Mr. O'Neill deserves that opportunity because he's done a good job, and I think it's a little bit scandalous that he's not getting it at the moment.
Okay, well, on that note, that kind of ends the first half. Jason, I'll obviously talk to you about the Watch Long Wednesday, and obviously Jason and Scott, I'll see you Thursday anyway. Chris, thank you very much. Liam, some brilliant points, and that concludes the first half of the show. After the break, we have got coming on Sutty, we've got Lewis, we've got George, and we've got Ez, who are all coming on to join us. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated.
Sorry, I know you're finishing. Have you finished yet? Can I just quickly drop something in? I've seen some comments about Neto celebrating.
Yeah, go on.
I think a lot of people expect players when they come back to play against us to kind of be robots and almost walk emotionally. And I think we all know that Neto is a bit of a character. He's not going to do that. And his team scored 4 goals while he was on the pitch. It's going to be very difficult for him not to. And I don't think that was really at Wolves. I just think that. I think everybody expects players to move robotically sometimes, and I don't see any harm by it.
I would agree with that, Liam, wholeheartedly, and he's a character. But the way Wolves have stood by him with his, yes, we've profited handsomely from it, but we've also stood by him with his injuries. And I just think when they're beating us 5 or 6-2, I just think it's a bit crass, in my opinion. But you're quite right; they can't be completely robotic.
I think we've got more things to worry about than whether Pedro Neto jumps up and
yeah, to be honest,
let's just grow up. It's just get on with it.
Let's grow up.
To be honest, I think that
I'm going to grow up now, guys.
To be honest, I think that was a bit poor from Pedro, and I know he's going to celebrate, but literally he's only left 2 weeks ago. His first away games at Molineux. He's dancing and cheer. You know, the Wolves fans gave him such a round of appreciation, and it sort of like almost stuck 2 fingers up, and I didn't like it. And I thought I've seen many players that have come back, and he didn't need to do it. So like I was a bit disappointed, and I think I'd have expected it from maybe, like someone said, Gibbs Wipe or Nunes or someone like that, but not Pedro Neto. So I was a bit disappointed with that. But as I say, we've got more important things. Right, guys, thank you very much. We're going to move on to the second half of the show. I'm just going to drop everyone else off, and we have got a great second half coming up. We're doing the jazz hands with Totti's biggest fan. And there is cheerful Chris and Scott, who are just dropping off now. Just before we get on to the second half of the show, I did promise Neil from the Fox at Shipley. There's a couple of events that are taking place, which are fundraising, being organised by Neil from the Fox and sponsored by the Fox, and that is on the Paddington Club on the 30th of August. There's the Jersey 4. This is in aid of the Birmingham Children's Hospital. There's still tickets. That's going to be a really good evening. It's £20 per ticket. And as I say, it's in aid of the Birmingham Children's Hospital. And the other event that is coming up very, very shortly as well, which might be interesting. That's Bully and Tomo, 2 Wolves levels. It's going to Legends at the Mount Hotel. That's Thursday, the 5th of September. And it's going to be hosted by Jason Guy, actually, my good friend, just been on. He's hosting that one as well. And there's still some availability going for that as well.